おいリース、しっかりせえ。
ケビン。
大丈夫か？体の調子はどうや？
大丈夫みたいだけど。ケビン、どうして？私裂け目から落ちて、それなのにどうしてケビンまで。
このアホ！後先考えずにつまらん挑発かますな。やれるものならやってみろ。たとえどこに落とされようときっと生き延びる。何を根拠にそんなこと言えるねん。
でも
お前銃騎士やろ。判断力も実行力もない新米が勝手な判断で行動すんなよ。それが守れへんのならいっそ騎士なんてやめてしまえ。とまあ本当はそんな風に叱るところやけど、俺も人のこと言えへんし、今のデコピンで勘弁したるわ。見てみこの光景を。これが第七清掃や。
煉獄。
なあ、まさにそのものといった光景やな。そしてこの光景を作り上げたのは多分俺自身なんやろ。この影の国は人の思いが反映される世界。どういう理由でかルフィナ姉さんはこの地で蘇った。
It's really just the same as how as Luve and like all of the other phantasmal copies. She's just the strongest one of those in here, and the first that was created.
姉さんの記憶と性格を持ちながらただ俺を罰するための存在として。
The thing is, that's exactly how Kevin subconsciously wanted it. The reason why the Lord of Phantasma took Rufina's form is that she was the face of his greatest failure, and deep down he secretly desired to be punished and literally sent to hell by that person. It's incredibly messed up, especially once you consider the fact that pretty much everything the fake Rufina has been saying has all been coming out of Kevin's head. And that's why Kevin was so bothered by what the Lord of Phantasma was saying all throughout this game. It's because, even though, like, again, it's a copy of Rufina, the Lord of Phantasma really is Kevin. It's his own negative thoughts given form.
そしてそれは確かに俺にとって何よりの罰やった。俺は確かに罰を望んでたんやろ。そして罰を受けることで全てが解決すると思い込んでいた。自分を犠牲にすることによってあの時の姉さんみたいにお前たちを助けられるとも思った。でもそれは違ったんやな。
あの時姉様が自分を犠牲にしてケビンを助けたのだとしたら、多分他 他にそれしか道がなかったからなんだと思う。気絶した私もいて、一旦引くわけにもいかず、誰か一人が犠牲になるしか本当に選択肢はなかったから。だから姉様はその道を選んだんだと思う。
姉さんは単なる自己犠牲を良しとするような人じゃなかった。あらゆる手を尽くした上での最後で最良の決断だったやろ。
でも今回はあの時と同じじゃない。私もいれば他の人もいる。力を合わせればいくらだって他の道は見つかったはずなのに、必死になって考えを出し合えば別の方法だってあったはずなのに。それなのにケビンは安易な道に逃げようとした。そうなんだよね。
ああ、どうやらその通りみたいや。よりにもよって守護騎士がこんな無様を晒してしまうとは。それこそ騎士失格もいいとこやな。ま、自分のヘタレさを悔やんでも仕方ないしな。よし、動けそうならとっとと出発するとしようか。
え？
なんや、目を丸くして。まさか俺がこの場に残って罰を受けるとでも思ったんか？
それは。それにここに残って姉様を待つつもりかなって。
なあリズ、確かに俺は罰を望んでるのかもしれん。あんな形であっても姉さんと会えて嬉しいのも確かや。だがそれとこれとは話が別や。お前を巻き込んだ時点でこんなところ1秒だっていられるか。あがくだけあがいて何としてでも一緒に抜け出すぞ。
そうだね。
We are about to escape from hell. An exact replica of it, to be sure, but still. This is a huge, huge part. You can probably tell why I love this game so much. Like, yeah, it's both horrifying and tragic what's currently going on in the story, but at the same time, just getting to see Kevin make up his resolve to do this now that that Reese is here, like, yeah. Now I really ship these two so hard, because, like, you know, I've heard about going through hell for someone, but this is making it incredibly literal. And what makes this even more amazing is what's going to happen when I fight an enemy here. And yeah, Kevin is in serious mode now, and he will be for the entire chapter. That music that just played, that battle theme, is called Masquerade of Lies. Also, I'm going to kind of distract myself from that a little bit, because right now I think I actually need chest detection, because this area does have maps, there are chests in here, and they are a little hard to spot. I know I already have the achievement, but I definitely want to make sure I don't miss anything in here. Yep, as you can see, the chests are showing up on the mini-map. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know if I'm the only one who get this impression, but Masquerade of Lies just really reminds me of Castlevania music. And I think that's really, really fitting when we are, again, basically escaping, like, not just escaping, we are breaking out of hell. This is just like one of the most epic things that has happened in this entire series to me. And we already were on, like, a giant floating, ancient, technologically advanced city back in Sky SC. We've fought mechs. But yeah, now we're doing this. we are busting out of hell. And also, you know things are serious in a Trails game when the chess messages stop making jokes. And yeah, this music, I definitely associate this music a lot with this moment in the story. A lot of people associate with something else, specifically with, I'll just say it, Stardor 15. This moment just made such an impact on me when I first got to it that this song is very much associated with this for me. Both Masquerade of Lies and Stairway to Gehenna is the name of this song, which was kind of a huge spoiler if I would have mentioned it earlier. But that is what it is. And we get a new weapon for Reese, which I already, I bought a better one for her earlier, but I kind of knew we'd get something for her here. And it boosts ATS, which is great. But yeah, I've actually spec'd out Reese to be a physical attacker, specifically because Kevin is a magic user right now, so I wanted to have some coverage there, sort of teamwork between the two of them, because it's just them against the forces of hell. Some of the enemies that we fought in boss fights earlier are now basic enemies, and that's going to get even more insane later. Yeah, I can't be the only one who gets a serious Castlevania vibe from this song. I can hear this song playing in a Castlevania game. Nowhere has that line made more sense than now. Even though all these quotes say the same thing, I'm still gonna get them. Cosmic Gear. Let me see, Cosmic Gear. No, it's a little worse for Kevin in some regards. It's basically just a big defense bonus. Oh yeah, she's got the Yarged armor for better strength. I'm gonna keep that on her, because yeah, she's my main physical attacker right now. I mean, these things were never particularly tough when we fought them in boss fights earlier, but now they're about to get destroyed even harder. Oh hey, Ascension is finally kind of being useful this late in. Do I have Silverthorn, though? Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned that Silverthorn was, like, really, really high tier in the Sky arc, and in later Trails arcs, Silverthorn is, like, the most basic Mirage element spell, so that kind of says something. Also, it just also really impacts me how much the victory theme is based on the opening theme, Cry for Me, Cry for You. The first games in the series, I guess I can show off Mortal Punishment 2. I think his quote's is his quote a little bit different? I'm pretty sure we always said that actually, but yeah, the victory theme in Sky FC and SC, it was okay, but it just really, it kind of got old after hearing the same victory theme for 2 games, and it wasn't particularly the most amazing song in the world. I love the victory theme in Sky the Third, but then again, I also love Cry for Me, Cry for You. Now I'm even thinking of overanalyzing that song and thinking about the voice crying theme, whether that was actually the Lord of Phantasma Rufina, like, crying out to punish him or something. It's just... Anyway, like, my emotions are going to be all over the place in this part, because for one, I think it's, like, incredibly epic, and on the other hand, though, I think we're about to see, yep, here we go. It is also disturbing and horrifying.
最初の犠牲者だ。
オーウェン。
天霊省の元司教、汚職で追放された逆恨みに両兵を雇ってシオンの家を襲わせた張本人や。俺が下方狩りとして最初に仕留めた獲物でもある。まさかこんな場所で再び巡り合えるなんてな。なあ、どんな感じや。灼熱の中で死ぬこともできずに煉獄を這いずり回る気持ちは。
熱い、苦しい、憎い、熱い、憎い、苦しい、助けて、助けて、助けて、助けて、助けて。
哀れなもんやな。ない、随分と苦しんだみたいだし、もう一遍だけ引導を渡したるわ。暑さも痛みも苦しみもなく、ただコンパクのグリモアとなって。
The main reason why I decided to voice patch this segment is there was no way I could do that justice just by reading out all of that, because... in fact, in my opinion, I don't even think the voice acting really did that justice. Like, I was expecting, like, all of the helps to be much faster and more desperate, but... yeah, this is the first person that, that Kevin hunted who pretty much had it coming. Like, he was the one who ordered those mercenaries to attack an orphanage. Like, yeah, but by what it sounds like, he didn't even know there was an artifact there. Like, you would think that the reason the orphanage was attacked was because of the artifact, but it turns out no, the only reason the orphanage was attacked was because petty revenge for a guy being exiled for corruption who totally deserved it. Yeah. Again, Kevin acts pretty ruthless in his Heretic Hunter persona, but at the same time, a lot of the people that he went after, not just Weissman, many of the people that he went after very much had it coming. But the fact that they've turned into these slimy, bloated monsters that are constantly in pain, that explode and can split themselves. This whole segment is just an absolute mess of emotions, but I guess that's really what Kevin is right now, and that's what he's been this whole time. Okay, Art's defense down. I still think she's probably going to be doing better with physical attacks for now. Yeah, keep doing that all you want. Because I've got a, Calamitous Blast with your name on it. That should take out most things here. I was about to say you've always got, Grail Sphere to fall back on, but, gonna go ahead and do that. Yes, there's a bit of cry for me in this, which is amazing. Okay, yeah, I am definitely... I am freaking Zerum capturing Kevin right now. And yep, that gets rid of everything. His HP does go down the more he divides himself. He still sounds encouraging even in his serious state now. Okay, that's the far stronger version of Thousand Sparrows. That comes at a perfect time. Because Thousand Sparrows itself is quite weak as far as crafts go, but Infinity Sparrows is a bit better.
ケビン。
さてと、まだまだ先は長そうや。とっとと進むとしようや。
Let's keep moving on. After, you know what? For thematic reasons, let's have Reese heal Kevin here. We'll probably need to use an EP charge as well, but we've got plenty of those. So, you might be realizing right now the reason, like the main reason why I like this game as much as I do. And it is that... Yeah, despite, like, it is definitely, it's the true evolution of the Sky gameplay. Like, it's definitely the best battle gameplay that the Sky arc has ever had, but more than anything, this story is a psychological character study, and I am a huge sucker for stories like that, as you can probably tell with how much I like Persona, and how much I like the Azure Moon route of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I don't want to be comparing this to other things, though. But speaking of that comparison, I have heard of a lot of people comparing this game's plot to Silent Hill, specifically Silent Hill 2. There's a lot of similarities there, but again, I don't want to go into, like, full comparisons. I want this thing to stand on its own. It's part of why I've said that despite, like, the fact that you can't really fully appreciate this game without having played the earlier games in the Sky arc, because otherwise, you know, you'd have no idea. I mean, fighting Cassius wouldn't be nearly as much of a big deal if this was your first Sky game. But as a story in its own right, I do think this story is great as a standalone, because it's, at its core, it's really not a story of some kind of massive supernatural events or world-shattering apocalypses. It's a story of one very, very deeply traumatized and depressed individual who has built up this just sense of self-loathing and desire for punishment for so long, to the point where it's all just built up and spilled over into this. And to the point where I think it's metaphorical, the fact that everyone else in the Sky Party was dragged into Phantasma. So here's what I think that represents. And I've got to be careful about how I say this, because, like, the way I say this, I don't want to sound like I'm demonizing people who have depression or have self-loathing issues at all, because it's very real, and, you know, you do need to realize and respect that. Like, I relate to this pretty heavily. I do go through this kind of thing as well. But the thing that you kind of have to realize as well is that it's easy to think that self-deprecating doesn't hurt anybody except you, when in reality it's actually not true. It does harm the people who care about you in the same way as being physically hurt would. And I think that's what's actually going on here. Kevin doesn't realize how much his inability to seek help and him just wanting to struggle through all of this on his own is actually affecting the people around him. And that's what Phantasma did by acting on his own subconscious desires to be punished. It's part of why I find the Lord of Phantasma such a messed up character, because just the sheer amount of sadism they have, and just how much they want to torture not only Kevin, but everyone connected to him, gets so much more disturbing when you realize that, like, because you think of them as just some kind of generic villain at first, but then you realize that what's happening here, and it turns out that the reason they're the way they are is that they are acting on Kevin's own subconscious thoughts. All of this sort of sadism is all Kevin has that inside his own head, directed at himself and subconsciously at everyone who associates with him. It's just, yeah. So go back and look at the Lord of Phantasma's dialogue from earlier in the game, knowing that it's like, and just now look at that, realizing that all of that is actually Kevin. It's all coming out of Kevin's head, and things just suddenly get a whole lot more interesting. So the thing about this game, though, is that it's really only now that you realize what's really going on in the plot. It takes a long time, but this is definitely a game and a story that you appreciate on a completely different level and much, much more when you go back and replay it. Because you see what's, like, once you know what's really, really going on and what Phantasma is actually doing and what it really is, suddenly everything earlier takes on a completely different meaning. There's a lot more that I want to talk about and unpack about the psychological symbolism and a lot of the things about what's going on in Phantasma and Kevin as a character. I will have more time to do that in the next 2 episodes that are coming up quite shortly. So, I will be getting into that eventually. I just wanted to say what I wanted to during this part. The recipes in here, by the way, are actually insanely good, so be sure to pick up those chests. Yeah, this is pretty much a guaranteed full revive that you can make. And Beastly Stew restores 60 CP. I'm gonna just make sure that I've, yeah, I picked up that chest. Like, again, there are a lot of chests in Gehenna that are very easy to miss because later on they like to hide them behind pillars or other things. I just realized I don't even need to make an effort to avoid enemies in the field because I have the quartz that gives me a guaranteed preemptive strike on everything. Haven't really talked about these things so far, but they're honestly pretty simple in how they work. And we're so strong at this point that we can take them out. Not much trouble. Even on Nightmare, this laid in with the accessories from Cassius and the Schwarzritter. Blood extract. Yeah. You shouldn't have too much trouble in this area. Oh, here we go. Heals all HP, cures ailments. Ugh. Yeah. But as I said, these are very, very good recipes that you definitely want to get in your log.
Goddess, my thanks to thee.
Okay, yeah, that chest there is easy to miss. Shine Sphere. Also, I didn't show what the Vajra does. Actually, some decent stats. Prevent Seal and Mute, and the Shine Sphere, Strength plus 50, prevents Sleep, Blind, and Freeze. We're getting a lot of good ailment protecting accessories right now. Oh, it's you again. You fought your counterpart earlier, but now it's time for... I still think... Like, I said earlier in the game that I feel like these things are based on Gozuki and Mezuki, the ox-headed jailers of hell in Japanese mythology, and now you can probably tell why I think that. So if you know your Japanese mythology, this was kind of foreshadowed.
エルマ、狂信的な悪魔崇拝の教団による古代物を利用した儀式で人食いの化け物に変えられた少年。どんな暗示も法術も聞かずに最後は楽にしてやるしかなかったな。
ねえ、いいでしょう。その柔らかそうなお姉ちゃんも一緒に仲良く食べてあげるから。ねえ、お兄ちゃん、食べてもいいでしょう。
君が悪いんとちゃう。それだけは確かや。そして多分女神が悪いんでもない。恨むんなら俺のことを恨めばええ。
Or, you know, resent the cult that made you like that.
だからな、もう一度楽にしたるよ。
嫌だ嫌だ僕お腹いっぱいになりたいの。
And yes, this guy's also a boss fight. He's pretty similar to how Owen worked. Let's get this going. Haven't shown Infinity Sparrows yet, but yeah, it actually hits a bit of a wider area than Thousand Sparrows did. Okay, that clears the field a little bit, but with these things that divide, the field is never clear for long. These Gehenna monstrosities do hit harder than you would think, so don't let your guard down in these fights, even though they aren't hugely terrible, especially after what we've been through. I do still have the time gem on Kevin, so I have very, very fast casting. So, I'm not sure if I should be saying this, but remember this moment, like what's going on here? This guy was turned into a flesh-eating monster by a devil-worshipping cult. You may want to remember that for later down the line in the series. Yeah, if you can believe it, this was actually foreshadowing for something. There's a lot of... See, that's what I think I said this back in SC, that, like, despite looking so bright and colourful, and generally being quite hopeful, there's a lot of very messed up things in Zemuria. At the same time, it doesn't feel like an excessive... Like, the setting never feels like it goes too excessive on darkness. But it doesn't shy away from some very dark topics as well. Which, obviously, we will be getting to once we cover Stardor 15, which doesn't relate to Kevin, it relates to somebody else, but it's no less horrifying for it. I need to take that crit turn. I love this part of the song so much. I'm also... Another thing that I'm a sucker for is, remixes of the main theme at dramatic moments in a game. We have already lost all of our Earth Guards. Okay. Arc Fencer 2 will hit both of these. I'm kind of thankful that didn't destroy the one near Kevin, though. Okay, I have a crit turn. Oh, I can't really do much of anything. I kind of wonder how close we are when it comes to those explosions. Because I think Calamitous Blast will get rid of everything here. I just don't want us to both die to the backlash. I feel like Reese is probably going to survive, though. Like, if this does wipe the field, Reese is only going to be taking one explosion, and it's not going to do over 9,000 damage, so... Oh, actually, that didn't wipe the field. Oh, no, it did. Okay, good. Yep, we survived. And Reese got all of her health back at least.
をずっと一人きりで。せめて私に話してくれるだけでも。
俺が選んだ道やしな。お前のことを巻き込みたくなかったんや。いや、違うな。多分俺は怖かったんや。自分を痛めつけることで罰を得ようとする俺の姿をお前にだけは見せたくなかった。お前との絆まで完全に断たれることが怖かった。はあ、多分そういうことなんやろな。
バカ。ケビンの大バカ。
俺としてはアホの方が愛があって好きなんやけど、バカで十分か。
ケビンのアホ、ヘタレ、死んじゃえ。
なんか増えてるんやけど。さてと、大丈夫か？
私のことは心配しなくてもいい。ここから脱出できるよう全力でサポートするから。だから少しは頼ってほしい。
ああ。
There's a lot of chess over there. One of the things I really like about Kevin's story is that he was so afraid to tell Rufina or the people closest to him about what he was going through and what he was doing. And this right here, sorry to interrupt, is why I wanted to spec out, well, one of the reasons why I wanted to spec out Reese as a physical attacker, because you need one here. You kind of would have to run if you didn't have a good physical option for this, and I should also mention, we are still being tracked for not running. This is the last area we have to go through though before that achievement is locked in. So, yeah, we should still, if I'm, yes, no fled. We just need to keep that streak going a little bit longer, and then we're in the clear. Then we can finally run from battles again. If you're going for the 300 fleas version of that achievement though, because there's 2 of them, then you know, you can run as much as you want. But I love how when Kevin finally tells the truth, Reese is angry at him, not because he accidentally, you know, Kevin admitted that he accidentally killed her sister, but that he'd been bottling everything up the whole time without telling her anything. That's why she was mad, and it's just... I honestly feel like that is often quite true to life with a lot of situations like this. Reese to Kevin is really a lesson in not taking for granted the people who care about you, and always realizing that, you know, you do actually have people who worry about you and care about you, and most people do have someone like that, so... And Kevin just... He thought that he was just so afraid that they would react badly, but no, like, if he just told Reese the truth so much earlier, then surely a lot of this could have been avoided and Kevin could have worked through his issues a lot sooner. The other thing I want to mention, and this is gonna... I will say this goes back into dark topics, so just as a warning. We're finally starting to learn a little bit about why Kevin took up the Heretic Hunter mantle, and it wasn't because he wanted to or to atone. The whole reason why he did that was as more of that self-punishment. he wanted to give himself the dirtiest jobs available, like that one where he had to mercy kill a kid who... Ugh, all of that. Like, that must have traumatized him, but he wanted to do that because he felt that he deserved that. Something that I learned recently, and just as a warning, I'm going to be mentioning self-harm a bit here, is that I only learned this relatively recently, but the concept that not all self-harm is physical. I heard about a concept called cyber self-harm, where people will intentionally look at material online, like depressing news stories or other things like that, or even will look at comments on forums that are negative towards themselves on purpose. As a form of self-harm. I never really thought of it like that, but I've realized a lot of people subconsciously do this, and other things like intentionally putting yourself through very difficult or traumatizing work could also be a form of that. So, yeah, Kevin's story it's very dark, but it definitely hits hard on a lot of levels. Okay, we aren't quite at, because there is one more Phantasma ghost in here, and yeah, the last one is definitely the worst, which says something given what the one before was. I think like, you can actually use the cloak quartz in here if you want to. You don't really need to fight the enemies. The forced fights give you enough experience, really. Oh, that's like an actual giant stone creature there. Maybe something that got turned to stone. Yeah, this next forced fight is gonna be something. But before we get the Grail Locket, which is one of the best accessories in all of Trails. The Grail Locket makes you immune to all status ailments, although it doesn't give you any stat bonuses. It's still, in my opinion, an incredibly good accessory if you have a slot to spare on it. I'm gonna go ahead and heal, because I think what I'm thinking of is through here.
もしかして
だからな、ケビン。このままお母さんと一緒に。
Let's put this final spirit to rest. Malevolent Ghost. Let's go. What I need, or I could use these to gather things for... No, I'd rather go for Calamitous Blast here. I haven't actually been using Holy Blessing that much with Reese, which surprises me. I really should be. That move sounds kind of weird when it's sped up. Go away. I don't know how many other people think of that whole incident with Kevin's mother as one of the most disturbing things in the Trails series, but it is to me. The idea of something like that happening, and just the... like, on the one hand, I can understand why Kevin blames himself for it, but on the other hand, he really shouldn't be. He had no way of, like, honestly, yeah. It wasn't his fault what happened. And, yeah, I know there are a lot of people who've been in real situations like that who've also blamed themselves in those situations, but sometimes there isn't anything you can do, and... yeah. But I suppose this whole experience is just very cathartic for Kevin. He can finally move on from what happened after literally destroying the memory of it. Hey, die.
Good job. Keep it up.
今のはさすがに答えたかな。
ケビン、いいから。
この煉獄が本当に俺の望んだものやとしたら、俺ってかなり魔族気でもあるんとちゃうかな。
いいから、こんな時は喋らなくていいから。
すまん。ある意味今のも必然だったかもしれん。あの冬の日以来、俺はずっと母ちゃんの死から逃げ続けていただけやったから、これでやっと向き合える気がする。
ケビン。
リス、今は先を急ぐとしよう。悲しむのも悔やむのも後からいくらでもすればいい。全てはここから生き延びてからや。
We're almost finished with this place. Just one more area to go through, and I think I should... Oh, yeah, there are these things are back. Yeah, Death Sluggers as a normal encounter. Actually, quite a few bosses come back as regular encounters at this point. And the thing you have to know about these is they have very good item drops. I forget if the Death Slugger does, but I know there's something else that has really good drops. But it also shows up in an area we get access to right after this, so no reason to go hunting for those drops right now.
My thanks to thee.
Yeah, Mortality Sword +1, Aster +2. Those are very, very good. I'm pretty sure they're weapons for Kevin and Reese, and they're very strong, but yeah, they are pretty rare drops. Also, look, Bennu Nucleus is back. The end boss of the first plane is now a basic encounter. Thankfully, it's a lot easier to deal with. I feel like most of the enemies in here are fairly slow to account for Kevin and Reese being the other ones here. Of course, you still have your fancy boss explosion. Nothing else here does, but you still do.
Good job. Keep it up.
The Bennu Nucleus in particular, Kaleido Armor +3 and Schwarz Silk +3 are the best, quote-unquote, male and female exclusive armor in the game. I say quote-unquote because I consider the kitty suit to be significantly better, and the heat-resistant boots to be significantly better than those shoes.
Good job. Keep it up.
So the option is there if you want to grind for that, but I would personally rather grind for the 5th plane armors. Even though they don't have as much defense. Defense hardly matters on the higher difficulties. Just want to see... Okay, yeah, we're getting close to being out of here.
Good job. Keep it up.
The reason defense hardly matters is because you can Earthwall and Grail Sphere your way through most things.
Stay alert. Stay alert.
Go away, Bennu. We don't need you right now. We especially don't need Death Sluggers right now. The mirrors are just content to let us pass, and now... there's a heal point and a music change. I think this is a perfect place to call things for now. Because there is one more. Next time we'll be facing the boss of Gehenna. See you all then.